In the previous session, we have seen how the merger creates a sense of diversification, but it is very costly diversification. And on the other hand, the investors can diversify their portfolios much cheaply as compared to the firm. Secondly, we have seen how mergers increase the EPS of the firm. In this session, we will see that how merger is a cost to equity holders in the form of risk reduction. We have focused our discussion on a merger and acquisition on a topic that mergers create synergy. They increase the revenues, they decrease the cost, they decrease our tax liabilities, they increase the size of the firm. Therefore, all of these firms uh, converge towards the risk reduction of a firm. And we know that equity holders they lose when the firm takes less risk, while the debt holders they feel more secure in the firm which has low risk, right? Therefore, the returns of equity holders reduced in a post-merger firms. Let's see how this actually happens. Let's start with this base case. So we have two situations, state 1 and state 2. Both of these situations have a 50% probability of happening. Both firm has no debt in their capital structure, so all of their value is in the form of equity. Before mergers, firm A had $80 of value in state 1, and in state 2 it has $20 of value. Both state have 50% chance of happening, therefore we will divide both of these with 50% and add value. So this will be 40 and this will be 10, and total value for the firm A will be 50. Similarly, for firm B, which has a value of 10 in state 1 and value of 40 in state 2, we will just multiply them with their probabilities and get their market value of 25. So just add both of these firms market value and we will have the total value of a merged firm after the merger. So after the merger, state 1 will have 90, state 2 will have 60, and the overall market value of the firm will be 75. We can get the 75 by multiplying them with their probabilities as well. Okay, this is the first state. We don't have any conflict between shareholders and bondholders in this state because there is no debt at all. So uh, no reduction of risk, no cost to the stockholders in this case. Now let's move to another case. in which we have face value of debt $30 in firm A's capital structure and $15 in firm B's capital structure. So here we have firm A whose value is 80 and 20, right? We can calculate its market value by multiplying them with their probabilities and adding the value of both states, and we will have $50. So before the merger, firm A has debt of 30 in state 1 and debt of 20 in state 2. By adding them, we will have market value of 25. And equity, $50 plus $0 in state 2. Therefore, the total equity will be 25. Now see this situation. The total value of firm A is 50, from which 50% belongs to lenders and 50% belongs to the equity holders. Now see the firm B. Similarly, firm B has total value of 25. You can multiply these with their probabilities and add them up to have this 25. And 50% of that belongs to debt holders and 50% of that belongs to equity holders. Now we will combine these two firms. So from here we will just add them up and have this $90 market value after the merger. Similarly, add firm value of firm A, firm B, and we will have $60 value in state 2. You can multiply them with their probabilities and add them up and can get $75 value of a merged firm. Or you can just add these two numbers and again you will have this $75. Now here is the tricky part. Debt has a face value of 30 plus 15, so total makes a 45. So if the total value is 90 and 45 is a debt, then remaining belongs to equity, right? Similarly, if the total is 60 and 45 is your debt liabilities, then the remaining is equity, right? If total value of the firm is 75 and 45 belongs to debt holders and the remaining will be 30 which belongs to equity holders, right? So let's see from here. Debt holders have 45 or 30. So in both state, in this state the value of firm is 90 and debt holders can get all of their money and the remaining will goes to equity holders. Even if the value is 60, which is much lower, but still debt holders can get their 45 and the remaining 15 will go to equity holders. This is sure loss to the equity holders. And again, if we see here, if the value of the firm is 75, again debt holders can get all of their money, but the equity holders has less money for them now. While if we see the above two situation, the firm A and B situation, from here the debt holders and equity holders have equal stake in both firms. This shows that some of the money of the firm is going towards the debt holders because of reduced risk. Actually, what happens here is uh, before the merger, these debt holders were insured only by their respective firms, right? But now these two firms have merged, and these debt holders are now insured from two firms, right? So now two firms combined have to give assurance for from A debts as well as from B debts. So because now two parties or two departments are giving insurance for each of these debts, therefore the risk reduced. This effect is called coinsurance effect. Now calculate what is lost to the stockholders and what is gain to the stockholders, gain to the debt holders. Let's talk about gains. Gains to bondholders. So bondholders can get 45, right? While their actual value was 25 plus 12.50. So this was their total value 37.50. So what is their total gain? 7.5. Similarly, you can calculate loss to shareholders. So total loss will be now the shareholders can get 30 minus 25 plus 12.50. $7.5. So the loss of shareholders is actually again to bondholders because the merged firm has low risk, therefore bondholders are getting extra money on the expense of shareholders. The next question is how the stockholders can counter this kind of a loss, how they can compensate themselves. There can be two different ways to compensate stockholders. Number one, before the merger, uh, the stockholders uh, can actually retire some debt. At low cost, right? And then reissue that debt after the merger. Another way is because the merger creates some unused debt capacity. The merged firm can actually use that unused debt capacity to issue more debt, In that way, they can increase the risk of the lenders and can gain some money on that increased risk, can earn some higher return.